Lipo Sculpture Talk, episode 6.
This stuff is great for, muffin tops, saddlebags, back fat where you've got your bra, whatever you want it to be. And it was just a choice that I made after having all my children that I wanted to feel good.
That's Maggie Miller from FamilyFrugalFun.com. She's a frugal living expert, a public speaker, blogger. She's describing her latest iLipo treatment she's getting in Chesterton, Maryland, where she lives. She chronicled her iLipo journey on her website in a very honest way, and she agreed to share her experience with us here. But first, what's iLipo? iLipo is a new and exciting technology. It's non-surgical. It assists sculpting your body, losing inches and possibly fat as well. iLipo is a machine. It's a device. It's got versions which include the iLipo Ultra and the brand new iLipo XL. It assists in multiplying the benefits of diet and exercise to the targeted areas being treated. A good diet and exercise is an important component of any exercise regimen, but the iLipo machine, it's painless. It's safe, very safe. It's a diode laser that certainly can help your exercise and diet routine. In the last few years, non-invasive liposculpture techniques have emerged as the holy grail of cosmetic surgery. For years, people have been looking for non-surgical methods to help them lose weight and trim down. There were FDA approvals for non-invasive fat sculpting devices in 2010, 2011, 2012, and then Cool Sculpting, Zerona, VasorShape, VeloShape entered the market. Many others, many using different technologies to non-invasively sculpt fat. But iLipo caught my eye. It appears to be evolving beyond its initial low-level laser technology. It's integrating new technology into its box. I heard so much about iLipo, but I never had a treatment myself, so I'm glad that Maggie can come here today and share some of her experience with us and share her honest opinion about iLipo. And so I had some questions on its core technology, its low-level laser technology.
So you have both technologies. You have the patient diagnostic, low-level laser therapy, vacuum massage, and the radiofrequency.
That's Kevin Williams, the CTO of Chromogenics. That's the manufacturer of the iLipo. Kevin's on the research and development team of the iLipo, and he's going to guide us through the iLipo technology. And he'll talk about the new advances with the iLipo Ultra and the brand new iLipo XL. And he'll talk about his thoughts on cryolipo, or fat freezing technology, and if there's a possibility of introducing that technology into iLipo. If you're considering fat sculpting with iLipo, or if you already have a clinic and you're considering adopting a non-invasive fat sculpting technology, you're going to find this episode and Kevin's words very useful. But first, here's Maggie again.
First thing they do after you come in and you sign in is they take all of your measurements so that whatever area you decide to work on, you can see specific immediate results after your treatments. So they measured me with my first one, and then you get a series of 8 20-minute treatments, and then after the fourth one, so halfway through, they measure you again, and you have measurable results that you can see that last forever.
Maggie's now at her treatment session. At the time of this recording, she's now on her third iLipo treatment session.
It's pretty cool. It's completely painless, and I'm shrinking inches. Women can shrink inches anywhere on their body except the breasts. So you just lay down on the bed. They put this kind of Velcro stretchy belt on you, and then they have these 4 paddles that sit on you. They stay here for 10 minutes, and then they'll move them. Since I'm working on my waistline right now, then they'll move them and go to the side, and then back here. So it'll shrink in my entire waistline, giving me a nicer hourglass look. You can hit your saddlebags, muffin top, arm fat, whatever you want. If there's fat on your body, they can shrink it, and it's pretty cool. It's completely painless. So this only takes 20 minutes. It's very fast because it's not surgery or anything like that. There's no pain, and I've got a remote. I can sit here and watch the TV, or I can play on my smartphone, whatever I want to do. I'm done my 20-minute treatment now, and now I spend 30 minutes on the treadmill. I just do 30 minutes for optimal results. Then I've got a few more sessions to finish up my 8, and I'm shrinking inches right off my waistline.
You can read the rest of Maggie's review. It's a fun review, and she'll tell you more about the prices involved and more on her inch loss from the weeks after this recording. Just check out familyfrugalfun.com or check out the podcast show notes for the link. I talked to Kevin Williams, the CTO of Chromogenics, and he's going to explain in depth the low-level laser technology behind iLipo and the original iLipo device.
The original iLipo device, we use low-level laser therapy, so visible red light, and we use the visible red light to create a reaction within the fat cell to get the fat to be naturally released. If we exercise or if we don't take enough calories, the body has to release fat, and the body releases fat by sending a signal into the mitochondria, which is the energy part of the fat cell, so that fat cell sends a signal in, so the fat cell releases an enzyme. The enzyme then breaks down the bond of the 3 fatty acids. By breaking that bond, it changes the chemical balance. The cell becomes more acidic. Therefore, the cell wall has to become porous to neutralize it. The fat then comes out of the cell, and that's a natural reaction that takes place every day.
So what happens is that iLipo simulates the body's calling out for an energy source, and the triglycerides and the fat cells get broken into free fatty acids, and a pore opens up on the wall of the cell. This allows the fat material to come out of the free fatty acids into the interstitial space and become absorbed and eliminated through the natural bodily processes.
All we do with iLipo, we use 36 visible laser diodes to temporarily raise the temperature of the fat cell, and it does that because the red light is absorbed by the 2 iron and 2 copper atoms that are present in the mitochondria. So by exposing the fat cell to about 10 minutes of this red light, we're able to trick the fat cell into releasing the enzyme. So by raising the temperature, the fat cell is tricked into thinking it's had a signal. As a result, the fat cell then releases the enzyme, and everything else is completely natural. So it changes the acidity, breaks down the bond. The fat then comes out of the fat cell into the interstitial space, ready to be picked up by the body to be used as energy.
Okay, so this is just opening up a pore in the fat cells, right? It's not necessarily killing the fat cells.
No, it's not killing the fat cell at all. This is completely a natural process. All we're doing is emptying the fat cell. The same as it would do if you go on a diet. The body will release fat and the fat cells will empty. The advantage of that is that if you then put weight on in the future, you will put it on in the same places. There have been studies in France looking at liposuction where they showed that when you destroy a fat cell, you're more prone to put fat in other places. And there were cases where they showed that people who had the fat removed from the abdomen, they then ended up getting obscure fat areas, say maybe on the shoulder or on the back.
Oh, sure.
So what we're doing is completely natural.
Good. Is iLipo a substitute for liposuction?
I think that there will always be, and if I had a conversation last week with a plastic surgeon who was looking in the UK, who's just bought an XL device, and his rationale for buying it was that, for probably 6 out of 10 people that come in for liposuction, they don't actually go ahead with treatment because of the risk of side effects. So he's turning away 60% of his clients. So I see it as complementary. There are people that will always want a quick fix, and they want liposuction, they want an instant result. And those people are best having liposuction. Other people who don't want the risk of surgery, you can get a result which is equally as good. And we've seen that from our data, from our research and photographs. But it means you have to come in for 8 treatments. So I think they're complementary. I don't see this as replacing liposuction because there will always be people who want an instant quick fix.
I think that many plastic surgeons may feel a little bit threatened by iLipo, at least at first, but there is certainly an opportunity to grow your candidate pool into liposculpture, because there certainly have been many great strides forward in liposuction techniques in recent years, and there's no doubt about that. But iLipo introduces a great vast pool of candidates, people that would never have before have considered liposuction, no matter what.
Now, sometimes, Chris, what we see quite often, because we speak with patients quite often, we come across some that have had actually surgical liposuction.
Here's Justin Richards, the Director of Global Marketing at Chromogenics.
And when they haven't stuck to a diet, they've put on a bit of weight, Normally they'll put it on their back or their legs, and basically they would never go through that long, painful process of recovery. So they would choose to go for the iLipo process
instead of liposuction. I see, the second time around. I'm going to wrap up this episode right here. There still is a lot more of my interview with Kevin and Justin for next week. And some of the interview may be, though, just exclusive interest to clinics that are considering adopting non-invasive fat sculpting technology. We're going to cover some of the new advances with the Ultra and the XL adjuncts, and Kevin will talk about his thoughts on introducing cryolipo or fat freezing technology. Justin will also talk about training for the iLipo and the iLipo appearing in high street locations. That's locations beyond the plastic surgery office. If you're considering fat sculpting with the iLipo, or if you have a clinic and are considering using non-invasive fat sculpting technology, you're going to find this next episode very useful.